Hello everybody and welcome back to Chris Bosch Props. I wanted to make a very big announcement today. I plan on wearing my beloved Robocop suit to Dallas Fan Expo on June 18th, which is pretty much just Dallas Comic-Con. It's probably the biggest cosplay event here in Texas. Now I know you guys have seen me wear my Robocop suit out on a couple outings like Halloween and my OCP video, which was absolutely great. But wearing the suit in those, it was in a more like controlled environment where, I just didn't really feel like I got to give to the fans to be able to really see the suit. As cool as Halloween was, a lot of the kids didn't recognize RoboCop as much as I thought they would. A lot of them were actually scared. And as fun as it was, I just didn't feel like I got that, wearing the suit. So I am planning on wearing it to Dallas Comic-Con because I owe it to the fans of RoboCop to be able to see this suit live. And I've always wanted to wear the suit at a Comic-Con, and I just haven't got to do it. To be honest, I've chickened out a couple times because I didn't want to damage the suit. But after recently I watched one of Frankly Built's videos, and they have like a little Iron Man group where they wear their Iron Man suits. And they shared a lot of their experiences, a lot of their failures, and even horror experiences wearing that suit. And if you don't know, the Iron Man suit is a very similar suit to the RoboCop suit. I actually thought, I don't really know my history very well, but I actually thought the Iron Man suit was kind of a ripoff of the RoboCop suit. And I know the RoboCop suit was kind of inspired by, Japanese robots and whatnot, but learning from Ed Neumeyer, they actually were inspired by Iron Man back then when they wrote RoboCop, so it's actually the other way around. But anyway, Frankly Bill and his group, the Iron Idiots, they wore their Iron Man suits out to WonderCon, I believe, and they kind of shared their experiences, and they had failures. I mean, they had pieces on their armors that broke, things that need to be redone, and they chucked along through it. And it kind of motivated me. It's like, hey man, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to make mistakes. Things might break. It's just going to happen. But with that being said, I wanted to do just like a little multi-part series. I mean, maybe just a few videos showing some of the modifications that I want to do to the suit to just make it a little bit more wearable. Now in that OCP video I showed you guys, that was the most comfortable the suit has ever been. It was extremely comfortable, but it was also very cold that day. So I was as hot as I still was very comfortable in the suit. Actually, that day I wore the suit for almost 4 hours filming the different things that I filmed. So it can be done, but in June here in Texas, it's a lot hotter. It's not as cold. I think I wore that suit in November-ish for that OCP video, and it was cold here in Texas. So I'm not going to have that type of environment. It's going to be hot, but like I said, Frankly Built and them, they said that they were miserable. As fun as it was, it's a miserable experience, and I understand. I could feel that pain when I wore my suit those couple times. It was so fun, but so miserable. But it's worth it. I really just want to have a good time. I want to be able to show the suit off to the fans and let them appreciate it, let them take pictures with it, and just have a blast. And I'm not going to be overly worried about cracks, breaks, scratches, like I was before. So with that being said, let's get into it. I wanted to show you just a couple of the things that I want to do, some videos that will be coming up, and I actually do plan on doing an Iron Man suit. Not right now, just a little. I got a couple other projects. You're probably thinking, Chris, you're all over the place. You're doing this. I do. I have so many ideas in here. I have so many things I want to do, so many things I want to complete. But I mean, that's what's fun about doing this, is having those ideas. I would be more worried if I didn't have ideas. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into it. Let me kind of show you what I want to do. As you can see here, these are rubber RoboCop gloves. These were given to me by a guy named Milbo on the RoboCop archive. He casted these for me in latex rubber, and they are absolutely fantastic. The mold that he did, he ended up molding the Do 3D gloves, or Do 3D, I don't know how you pronounce it, but anyways, Do 3D modeled these gloves for me years ago. I wanted a more accurate model, so I sent them a lot of reference photos showing them how the gloves should be, and they ended up mocking up a model of their own based on the photos I gave them, which was extremely accurate. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close. And Milbo ended up taking that that model, 3D printed it, and then made a mold of it and sent me these as a gift, which these have made wearing the suit so much more comfortable, because my suit here in the back has the plastic gloves that I just printed, and I kind of put them together similar to how you would an Iron Man glove with some elastic and hot glue. But those plastic gloves are miserable to wear. They are not comfortable. And just even after like 15-20 minutes of wearing the plastic gloves, you're getting pinches and you're getting rubs on your skin, and it hurts. So he sent me these actually a couple years ago from my first Robocop suit, and I ended up using them, and they worked fantastic. But sometimes things are too good to be true, and on one of the gloves, unfortunately, it was. This glove is a little bit more stiff. This glove here is kind of flimsy cast. I mean, it works, it's great, but when I was wearing the arms, there's a few photos, the weight of the arms kind of squishes the glove, and it didn't look good cosmetically. I'm sure other people probably wouldn't notice, but I could notice. And this is something I've kind of always wanted to do. I've always wanted to mold my own Robocop gloves, just as a bucket list thing for my prop. I guess my prop bucket list. So with that being said, let me show you what I've done, and it's on the print bed right now in front of me. I contacted Darth Assen. Now Darth Assen is the one who made the majority of this Robocop suit here, and he did a spectacular job in capturing the details, the accuracy of the suit, but I like his gloves a lot more than the Do 3D gloves. So I contacted him, and I also sent him a bunch of reference photos, and I wanted him to model me a static glove with no holes in it that I can clean up, and it's pretty much just ready for molding. He got back to me, he sent me those files, and they are perfect. They just finished on my print beds, and I wanted to show you how they look and show you what I'm going to do. So thank you guys. See here, this is the fully printed Robocop glove with no holes in it, and it is pretty much ready for molding aside from the post-processing and cleanup that I got to do to it. This is probably the most maxed out I've ever done with my CR10. I've done pretty high. I've done a whole entire Robocop helmet, but that's probably... No, I think I've gone a little higher. Probably like right there, but that's definitely the most maxed out I've ever done on this printer. And what's cool about this Creality CR10, this is the original CR10. So this isn't the CR10S with the extra, filament sensor. I think it has power resume, the CR10S, and it has the extra Z-rod there. This is the original CR10, and this thing still to this day, 5 years later, chucks out some pretty amazing prints. And look, that's maxed out on the CR10. The only upgrades I've ever done to this printer, honestly, which I did recently, was I put in this Capricorn tubing, which is supposed to help with temperatures or something and last longer than the standard PTFE tubes. And I put on a Creality metal extruder there. I don't know if you could see it with all the dust and dirt up there. But yeah, I put the metal extruder on, which you can see right there. And the Capricorn tubing, that's all I've ever done. It's the original hot end still from 5 years ago. Original bed, springs, belts, everything. And I've printed 2 Robocop suits on this thing and tons of other stuff. I've ran this thing through the ringer. And as you can see, it still works. Don't get caught up in all those new printers, because to be honest, as you know, the newer printers have a few quirks, but As far as FDM printing goes, it really hasn't advanced. It's still the same technology. Those more advanced printers that have a few more quirks, they still do the same thing. You're still going to run into a lot of the same problems. So yeah, don't be afraid of these older printers. I love this CR10. As you can see, it still to this day does the job. And down here, I have my CR10S. Now this is just a slightly more advanced version than the CR10. It has the extra Z-rod, the power resume, the filament sensor, which I don't even use anyway. And I mean, it's not even much different than the original CR10 in terms of quality. I think the original CR10 still does just as good. But nonetheless, I got one just to see if there really was a difference, and there is not. But it did the job. It got the right glove printed, and I got the left glove printed on here. That's kind of what I do with my larger suits. I'll go in between here, print one piece, and it cuts the time down in half getting a suit printed. So yeah, I'm going to take this thing off to bed, break all the supports off, and really see how it looks and show you guys. Supports pretty much out of the gloves, and this is what they look like. This is before any kind of post-processing or cleanup. They just look so good. So what I want to do in a future video that's going to come up pretty soon is, this is all one piece here. As you can see, this is not hollow where it can be worn. It was made strictly for me to mold it. Now, after this is all cleaned up and ready for molding, we're going to have the thing probably hot glued down like that, and we're going to take some silicone and we're going to make a glove mold of this. Now, that's not a two-part mold. That's just pretty much a mold that's going to be all one piece that's going to go over this glove. And then we're going to make our fiberglass shell or our protective shell, and then we can make our castings. And I'll probably use the same material I use for the midsection, which is Flex Foam at 15. Maybe another material. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think mainly I'm going to go with the Flex Foam at 15. And when it's pretty much demolded, you know, you're going to take apart your shell, or when it's ready for demolding, we're going to take apart our shell, and we're pretty much just going to deglove the silicone. And then voila, you're hoping for that to pop out. So that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. I need to get to cleaning these up. That will be in another video, and I will show you how I mold these and how I make castings. The first few castings are probably going to be a little rough, but I'm pretty confident we can nail it and get something coming out that's really flexible, but at the same time a lot more sturdy in this forearm area. But yeah, let's see the detail on that. Just off the bed, it is fantastic. If you're watching, Asin, thank you. You did an amazing job. It has no holes in it. It is ready for molding. Now, of course, if we just molded it like this, you're going to get all the print lines. We don't want that. But man, so good. So good. I'm so excited to do these. Okay, I like even the little fingertip details that he added in on the gloves. Really went for accuracy. So that's on the game plan in order to get this suit ready for a Dallas Fan Expo. I was excited to share that with you guys. But another thing I want to do is I want to do another helmet. Now this is the same exact model as my original helmet, and I love my original helmet. I've worn it out a couple times. It is awesome. The paint job is phenomenal. But with that said, the difference between this model and this model is, when I first was starting to print my Robocop suit, I cut this helmet up a lot more than I needed to. I didn't realize that I can print this whole entire helmet on here without any support. So I didn't do it as one piece because I thought I needed all the supports that were in the middle, and it would have took forever and I would have wasted a lot of material. So I cut this up into 6 pieces, I believe, for this top dome. Everything else is printed in one piece, and it worked out. I mean, you can't tell, it's seamless. It's all, you know, it looks like it's all one piece. But I learned that I could print the helmet as one piece. So this helmet right here is all one solid piece. And for that reason, I wanted to do another helmet just because it's one piece. If I were to drop this, it's more than likely going to break at those seams, possibly. Now, there's been a lot of occasions where I've super glued things and it didn't even break in that spot. It broke in another spot because the super glue I use is really, really strong. But with that said, we're going to do another helmet, and I want to do like a how-to video. I don't want to do just show and tell. I know I kind of do that quite often, where I don't really show you everything I do. So I kind of want to show you everything I do with this helmet, go into detail of how I actually paint it, what paints I use, and maybe it might motivate some of you guys to get out there and paint your Robocop suits and be a little bit more confident in doing it, because it can be an overwhelming task. It is a lot of work to paint these things, but it's not as hard as you think. But we'll do a video and we'll kind of break it down, and I'll show you how I do it in better detail. So yeah, that's another thing we're going to do. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy coming along on this journey with me once again. And I hope you guys come with me to Dallas Fan Expo. I'll see you there, or I'll see you down in the comments section when I show you a lot of the video. Thank you guys.